within 6 months of the nikah, like everything, the hitting started. So it was just a smack. And whereas because I've had a very traumatic childhood, you think this is okay, she's forgiving. I've seen it happen within family members. You just think, oh, it's a part of a relationship, so you ignore the signs.
So you was basically getting hit and you thought that's normal?
Yeah.
So when you was getting a little smack, what was it like on the head? How was it happening?
But you slap on the face, smack across the head, a little bit of shoving and pushing. I was like, okay, fine. And then the cheating began. So every time I'll catch him cheating, I now know I'm going to get a beating out of it. Because that cheating is also my fault. If you was a good enough woman, I wouldn't cheat on you. So not only am I getting physically abused, I'm getting mentally tortured. That the cheating was also my fault and I deserve it. So it goes back to you deserve it, this is your fault. So, the beatings then became where he's actually having physical fights like I'm a bloke. No, we're not talking just about smack anymore. We're talking choke slam, talking punches, beating left, right, centre, being locked in my own flat, not being allowed to go out with my friends, clothes being torn, cut, my phone's been confiscated even though that person was a guilty person. But again, because I was like, I've come out of a divorce, I don't want to do this. I actually did fall in love, and they say love is blind. I'm telling you, during those phases, my love was blind. Did you feel like all the things were your fault at that time? 100%. It was my fault. Maybe I shouldn't have snooped around. Maybe I shouldn't have gone and the worst was when he cheated with me with a really good friend of mine. They both said that nothing extra happened, but that will impact me. I have trust issues now, and hence the reason why my topics sometimes come across like I hate men. But having to go through all of that, I don't hate men. I love men. I have a son, right? But those kind of men do need to be spoken about. And there are women who do the same thing as well. So I'm so glad that Johnny Depp has done what he's done. Yeah. That's actually something that I see a lot as well, is you don't just say men. You also say women do this, women do that, because they also need to. And they do it. It's true. I just don't feel like men have the same energy to put it out online. They don't. Number one. Number two, don't forget, even having a son myself, like I can see from young age, there's a thing called pride and ego that you have. Right? And he will bottle it rather than talk about his feelings because men are not supposed to cry. I think that's so silly. I feel like it makes you more of a man if you let it out. It makes you more of a man if you talk about it. It makes us understand you. We're not men. And it's communication. It's communication. Absolutely. So when you was, let's say, going back to what you were saying, like you was like physically abused, mentally abused. How long did that go on for? 8 years. So a long time. And what was like? How bad did it get? Nearly broke my nose. He tore a blood vessel in my side. I think it was like literally had a red eye and a black eye. Was it just you two living together? No, my son was there, but the abuse was never in front of my son. But surely he would have picked that stuff up. Like if you're physically getting abused like that, he must have been like, yo, mum, how did this happen? He did, and I would lie and say I fell down the stairs. Like, I remember once I went to my mum's house and it was like covered in bruises, literally covered in bruises. At that point, he'd hit me in places where it wasn't visible. But then obviously when it became visible, it was like literally going into work with a black eye or just traumatized, just upset, working. I let that affect my work, crying all the time. So yeah. So what about your mum? Like, did she not clock on as well? Absolutely, she did. She knew. She knew, and she was supportive to a certain extent. But then yet again, there's always that. Well, you chose the guy. Yeah, you chose this. You chose this guy. You chose this life. You can't leave him. But when it just became so worse, like her seeing that I'm very, very unhappy, and my mum actually did go to my in-laws' house and said that this is what your son's doing, and my father-in-law at that time was like, well, cheating happens, you just have to deal with it. He just made it normal. Yeah. Where was he from? They're from Pakistan. So they're Pakistani, so kind of similar backgrounds as well. And he still was like, it's normal. It's not normal though. Yeah, and I lost no matter it. This is where I knew my strength was coming out, because I lost at that point. And I think this is where this guy was like, oh my God, she's now speaking out, because I was like, okay, cool, cheating is normal. Let me go do that to your son. I should.
So what did they say then?
Get out the house. Get out.
So it's one rule for one person with the other.
Yeah, that's it. This is why I say I don't hate my people. I hate this.
Yeah.
Pick and choose.
I don't feel like that's normal though.
Why is it normal?
But I don't feel like it's normal.
But it is made normal.
But it's happening, definitely.
Yeah,
I won't say it's not. I'm not going to be blind and say it's not happening or it's not happened, because it definitely has. But I look at my demographic of people around me, and from what I know, because we don't know what's happening in people's houses, from what I know, I don't feel like it's normal. But are you going to tell me that I'm wrong now?
It happens a lot more than you think. And a lot of the times, again, I've heard this story, and I don't know how much I'm going to ask you actually, but I've heard guys go for girls who are very easy to manipulate or vulnerable or young, because that way they can do certain things and they won't be questioned. Is that correct?
I don't know.
Or is it certain type of guys?
I feel like yes and no.
Okay.
I feel like the culture has maybe made that, that whole, if she's younger, she's not going to chat too much shit, and then we can just live easier lives because they know that. And I don't fully disagree with this. If somebody is like a bit more, let's say, dominant in the sense of, I've got a little bit more knowledge, I can guide you, and we can do this together. I'm cool with that. So in that sense, I'm like, all right, someone's a few years older than you and they've got a bit more understanding than you. They'll support you in a sense of, all right, maybe you shouldn't go for this kind of job because it's not going to be good for your career. Guidance. Then I agree with it. Absolutely. In that sense.
But not when you use your knowledge and wisdom as a form of abuse.
Yeah, as fuel to do something else is a bit mad. To take
advantage of somebody or manipulate the situation.
I feel like that's where it's kind of evolved into now, though. He's kind of taking it to that point now, in the sense of it's got to a point where the dominance is maybe too much. And it's probably been like that for a while. But like I said, I don't know what's happening in people's houses.
I think
But also, I see that in drug dealers a lot as well. Like drug dealers always have like these like really young wives or girlfriends, and then
because they can do anything and everything, and because the wives and girlfriends are so heavily dependent on this person, they don't know any better. So they're just gonna have to deal with it. Just suck it up, deal with it. Guys going to prison for 7-8 years, deal with it. That is the other side people don't talk about as well. Exactly.
It's like the whole kind of, if someone goes jail, kind of throw away the key kind of thing. They feel like if someone's a bad seed, they should just leave it.
Wash their hands off it.
That's it.
Yeah.
So it's the same
or make
thing.
Excuses for them.
Exactly.
We have a lot of women who are enablers, like mothers and sisters, who enable their brothers and let them, because my brother, so what? Like, no, your brother's doing something wrong. If your husband did that to you, you're gonna sit there and if I said, so what?
But some of them are.
Some
of them are.
It's normal. So it's a normal cycle.
Yeah, but then that's where all the problems come, and then people like you get the hate online because of that mentality, isn't it? Tell us a joke.
But when you put me in the spot like that, I just can't. It just comes naturally.
I feel like a lot. I don't know who said it, but another comedian was like, when you tell people you're a comedian, they'll be like, "Go on then,
make us laugh." You're like, it doesn't come like that. It just comes naturally. But one of the things I did want to talk about was how I got stood up once, because I didn't get stood up, so I went on a date with a guy, but this time around I didn't write on my bio that I'm a single mom. I just wanted to see the reaction I get. So he literally sat down with him, and I said, look, he's like, oh wow, you're gorgeous, you're lovely, and I'm like, thanks, but I've got a secret. And he's like, oh gosh, what is it?
Imagine he probably thinks you just say I'm a man or something.
Yeah. But the way he reacted was worse. I should have just told him I'm a man. Because I said, I've got a son, I've got a child. My son is big. He doesn't need a father. As a matter of fact, he'll look at you and be like, I can be your dad. So I didn't tell him the age of my son. I just said I have a son. So his face went from brown to white, like Casper the Friendly Ghost, like he's seen a ghost. So he's like, oh, I'll be back. He went to the toilet and it dipped. Like he literally ran, and I was laughing. But to make myself feel better, and I'm like, I'm so intimidating that till this day he's still shitting himself. That's how intimidated he is.
How long ago was this?
This was about a couple of years ago, 3 years ago. No. But yes, I'm gonna I definitely will talk about that and make a joke about it. But yeah, we get treated so differently the minute a person finds out you're divorced or a single mom. You've been on
the dating websites and stuff.
No, I don't like them, because you actually do meet some crazy people, man.
You've been on it before then?
I have, and I came off it straight away.
All right, cool. Well, anyway, thank you for coming, Shaheen. Before you go. Tell us where we find all your socials and stuff.
Definitely on TikTok. So Shaheeness is my name, SHAHEENSSS. So that's my Instagram and TikTok. Those are the two platforms that I use. I do have Snapchat, but please, I'm not giving that out.
Cool.
Because, even though it's the same name, because I will get guys talking crap to me, and I'm the last person you want to do that with, because I will start talking to you like I'm your mum. Deep. So like, don't behave yourself, okay?
Mum zone, that's a new one, isn't it?
That's it. I'm mum's. Oh my god, I've had that. You're a mum. I'm like, the same age as me. That's disgusting.
Cool. Make sure everyone follows up Shaheen, and if you want to see a part 2, we'll talk about something else different. Just hit it up in the comments. Follow us at Moving Famous, and Shaheen, thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. Till next time. Yeah. Thanks everyone for listening. Take care. Bye.